Hey friends, welcome back to another Vinyasa flow. Today is going to be for most levels, I would say, but there are definitely a few fun and challenging options along the way if you would like to take them. It is also quite a well-rounded practice, but we are going to be focusing mostly on the back body. So let's find our way down into a Shavasana on our backs. So lying yourself down, letting your toes and your knees hang out wide. Maybe the hands are by your sides with the palms up. Or if it feels more connecting, maybe one hand comes to the heart, one hand comes to the belly. And for the moment, just connect with the different places that your body touches the ground. So noticing the back of the head, the back of the upper body and the arms. Noticing the back of the hips and the legs and the heels. All rooting down onto the mat or the ground beneath you. And see if you can, with an exhalation, melt your back body into the ground. Letting go of any tension, knowing that the ground is there to support you. Connect with your breath. Inhaling through the nose, expanding through the ribs, the chest and the belly. Exhaling through the nose. There's a saying within yoga, it's a sutra that's called Sthira Sukham Asanam. And what that translates to in English is that an asana, a posture, should be steady and comfortable. So anytime today that you don't feel steady and you don't feel comfortable, then let that asana go, just so you can be more with your body. Let's start to walk the feet up by our hips. Take the feet wide on the mat, hands come out, and then windshield wiper your knees from side to side. So drawing the knees over to one side and then over to the other side. How far you drop your knees is up to you. Keep the breath flowing in and out through the nose. Maybe the eyes are closed. Now the next time you find yourself on the right side, let's hold there. Start to stack the left knee on top of the right, so finding a twist. Then draw that left palm to touch onto the right. Take a big breath in. Let's circle that left hand up and over the head, tracing the fingertips on the ground till we reach towards the back. And then as we exhale, take that left hand up and over the body, touching down with the right palm. Use your in-breath to circle, almost like you're tracing a rainbow up and over. And then exhale to reach back. Last time, inhaling to open, trying to draw that left shoulder down. This time, hold here for a breath. Then take your feet back wide on the mat. Plant the heels down, hands come beside you. On your next in-breath, let's start to lift the hips high, finding our Setu Bandhasana, our bridge pose. Squeezing the glutes, pressing the heels into the ground. Now you could stay here, or we could try some knee taps. So drawing the knees towards each other, and then pressing the knees as far wide as you can. Inhaling to tap. Exhaling to press, keep your hips high. Inhale to tap. Exhale to press away. Find your way back to a neutral position and then roll yourself down. Nice, let's try that on the other side. So find a few windshield wipers to begin with. using your breath. Then the next time you draw the knees over to the left, hold. Start to stack that right knee on top of the left, finding your twist. Then draw that right hand up and over the body to touch the left palm. Use your in-breath to trace your fingertips and up and over the body. As you exhale, take the hand over towards the ceiling, touching down. Use your breath here, opening, drawing that right shoulder down. Exhaling. Last time, using a breath. This time as you reach the right hand out, let's hold, finding a big twist through the thoracic spine. And then when you're ready, let's come back to center. This time, both feet are going to touch each other. So bringing the feet together, the knees together, hands come by the sides. On the next in-breath, let's lift the hips high, finding a bridge, but really firing through the inner thighs. Now you can take the hands underneath your body, clasping the hands together. Come up higher onto the shoulders. Option here to tap the hips down onto the hands, and then inhaling to come up. Exhaling to tap. Inhaling to lift. Nice, keep squeezing, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then release the hands, release the hips. Well done. Draw the knees into the chest, little hug. Maybe a little rock from side to side. That was pretty fun. Let's take the backs of the legs, roll yourself up, and then take your hands wide, spread the fingertips wide, tuck onto the toes. We're heading straight back into an Adho Mukha Svanasana, your downward facing dog. Maybe you pedal out your feet here, drawing one heel down, drawing the other heel down. Trying to lift your hips and your tailbone as high as you can while drawing the chest through towards the thighs. Make sure we have a bend at the knee. Find a breath. Start to bend your knees. Draw the hips towards the heels. Now we can either hover the knees off the ground or touch them down into our balasana. Start to shift the weight forward into your plank, shoulders over wrists. Then lead with your tailbone back into your downward facing dog. Let's try that again. Bending the knees, either hovering or touching the knees down for a crouch or a balasana. Draw the shoulder blades apart. Then use your in-breath to transfer your weight forward. Exhaling, drawing the tailbone up, downward facing. Last time, inhaling, bending the knees. Exhaling to soften, keep the shoulder blades apart. Inhale to ripple you forward. This time, let's soften the hips down. You can touch the knees down, finding a upward facing dog with the toes tuck. Let's all draw the knees down, untuck the toes, find your way onto your belly. Inhaling baby cobra, press through the hands, or you can hover the hands off the ground, or you can take your hands behind you, clasping the hands behind your back. Final option here is to lift the feet off the ground, squeezing the heels together. Squeeze the glutes, draw the shoulder blades onto the back body. One more breath in, lift the chest high. As we exhale, come down, bring the hands by the ribs, press your way up into a tabletop position. Nice. A few rounds of wrist circles here if you'd like. But I highly encourage you just to close down your eyes and move in a way that feels good, whether that's a few cat and cows or a shift from side to side. Find your way back to neutral. Turn your left toes towards the left side. Take the right foot behind you. Find a modified side plank. Then find a few circles with your hand. So circling your fingertips towards the ground and then reaching behind you, using your breath. Reach that left hand back towards the right hand back towards the front. Tap the right knee to the right elbow, cactusing the arm. Then draw the left knee up towards the chest. Nice. Use your in-breath. Tap the knee to the elbow. Exhale to reach. Inhale to draw the left knee up. Exhale to touch. Inhale, tap. This time, as we exhale, hover that right foot off the ground. Lift it as high as you can, then shift your eye gaze forward. Take the right foot all the way to the top edge of the mat. Twist your hips and your feet to find a kneeling lunge here. Maybe a little shift from side to side feels good. Opening through the hip flexors and the quad. Nice. Bring the right elbow towards the right thigh. Take a big breath in to lift the left hand towards the sky. Exhaling to side bend, C-shaping the spine. Another option here is to bring the right hand down towards the ground or to a block. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. Come back to center, keep the left hand extended, tuck onto the left toes and lift the hip, the knee off the ground. Lengthen through the right leg, reach the left hand in front of you, right hand behind. So it's a modified Pajvottanasana pyramid pose. Lengthen through the belly, strong core. Next in-breath, let's rise both hands towards the ceiling, bending the right knee to find a high lunge. Exhaling to soften the hips. Draw the ribs towards the hips, shoulders behind. Now circle the hands behind you, clasp the hands, draw the shoulders onto the back body. Soften the left heel down towards the ground, then draw the chest through in between the thighs, the right thigh, humbling the warrior. The hands draw towards the front of the mat. Trying to look towards that back ankle. Let's bring both of the hands down towards the ground. Step the right foot back into your plank. Chaturanga, bend the elbows close towards the body. Inhaling, finding your upward facing dog. Shoulders roll back as we exhale, tabletop position. Take a big step forward with both hands. And then soften your heart space down, finding your puppy pose. Hips stay stacked on top of the knees. Drawing the forehead in the direction of the ground. Or if you feel like you have space, you can lift your eye gaze. Maybe the chin grazes, but we don't want any pain in the neck. Find one more breath. Every exhale, trying to soften and deepen. Let's find your way back to tabletop. And maybe counter this with a cat pose, rounding through the upper back, pressing away from the ground. Find your way back to neutral. Let's try that on the other side. So turn the right toes towards the right side, left foot plants out, left hand extends, and then take a few circles with the left hand. Trying to make as big of a motion as you can here. So even opening your heart space towards the ceiling and then drawing the fingertips towards the ground. Left toes are turned towards the side here. Let's draw that left elbow towards the left knee, cactus the arms, then recenter. Draw the right knee up into the chest, then touch back down. Inhale, tap the elbow towards the knee. Exhale to tap down. Inhale, press through the right hand as you lift the right knee. Exhale to tap. Inhale, draw the left knee to the elbow. As we exhale, hover that left foot off the ground. Keep expanding that left hand forward. Then look forward. Take that left foot towards the top edge of the mat. Turn your hips, turn your foot so you're towards the front now. A little shift from side to side in your kneeling lunge. Take the left hand towards the left elbow. Left elbow towards the left thigh. Use your in-breath to reach the right hand high. Exhaling to side bend. So right hand reaches towards the left side. Remembering you can always take that left hand towards the ground or towards a block. Then keep the right hand extended as you tuck onto the right toes. Lift the right knee off. Start to lengthen through that left leg. Reach the right hand forward, left hand behind. Long spine. Crown of the head reaches forward. And then use your in-breath to sweep the left hand high, exhaling to soften into your high lunge. So left knee is bent, right leg is long. Shoulders are soft here. Start to circle the hands behind you, clasp the hands together, shoulders pull onto the back body. Right heel places down and then draw the chest in between the left thigh, humbling your warrior. Eye gaze on the right foot, knuckles pressed towards the front of the room. Release the hands, inhaling, placing the hands onto the ground, step back to plank. As we exhale, chaturanga, elbows close. Inhaling, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing. As we exhale, downward facing dog. Soften the heels, bend the legs, find a breath. We're going to find that crouch sequence again. So start to bend the knees, either tapping the knees down or to a hover. Draw the shoulder blades apart, press through the hands. On your next in-breath, start to ripple through the spine, shoulders land over the hands. As we exhale, squeeze the glutes as we start to draw the hips down into a upward facing dog with toes tucked. And then soften your belly down towards the ground. Extend the right hand out. Bend the right knee so the foot comes close towards the glutes. Left hand reaches around to try clasp onto the ankle. You can keep the knee down or use your in-breath to kick into that hand. Squeeze the shoulder blades together here. And then release the foot down. Let's try the other side. So extend the left hand out, right hand comes around towards your left foot. Again, you could stay onto the ground, or you could use your in-breath to kick into that right hand. Exhaling, trying to draw that right shoulder back. Keep squeezing the glutes, then release the foot. Bring the hands by the ribs, press up onto your knees, then tuck onto your toes, downward facing dog. Again, finding a breath. And then using your next inhale to walk up towards the top of the mat. Exhaling, Uttanasana. We'll stay here for a couple of breaths. Feet can be together or they can be hip width distance. Drawing the chin in towards the chest, letting your upper body hang. On your next in-breath, hands to shins, halfway lift, shoulders in line with hips. As we exhale, fold forward. Inhale, reach the arms above your head, Urdhva Hastasana. And then exhale, Tadasana, hands by the sides. Coming into a different sequence here, start to shift the weight into the left foot, hovering the right knee towards the chest. If you're feeling strong, you could try press that right heel out, extending through that right leg. Palms face the front, drawing the shoulder blades back. Inhale. As we exhale, start to tip from the hips, extend that right heel behind you, finding a Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3. Draw the right hip down, fingertips reach behind you. Take a big breath in. As we exhale, step back with that right foot, open the hips towards the side, Virabhadrasana 2. So left toes are pointing towards the top of the mat, right toes are pointing towards the side. On your next in-breath, take the right hand down the right side. Take the left hand up over your body, side bending for your reverse warrior. Soften the shoulders. Then use an in-breath to windmill your hands down towards the ground. Exhaling, drawing the left knee towards the nose. Inhale, draw the left toes towards the ceiling, three-legged dog. And then bend the knee, opening the hip on your exhalation. Soften that right knee and the right ankle. Draw the left shoulder down. On your next in-breath, shift your weight forward. Left knee touches the right elbow. As we extend, pivot onto the left hand. That left foot comes out towards the right side for your broken triangle. Soften the hips down towards the ground. Now you can stay down or circle your right hand behind your hip to lift your hips, turning the toes towards the right. And then drawing the hips back down. Take a big breath in to lengthen through the spine. And then as we exhale, soften forward into your forward fold. Finding a few breaths to center. Enjoying a moment of stillness. Start to walk the hands back. Place the left hand towards the ground, then right. Tuck onto the right toes. Draw the left knee in towards the chest on an in-breath. As we exhale, take the left foot behind you. Option three-legged plank or tap the toe down. Chaturanga, finding your way back into your downward facing dog through your Vinyasa. Find a breath again. Bending the knees, drawing the chest towards the thighs. On your next in-breath, we can step or you can hop in between your hands. As we exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Next in-breath, hands to shins, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Next in-breath, let's rise the arms, lift the eye gaze, palms come to touch. As we exhale, hands by the sides. Let's try that again, other side. Shift the weight into the right foot. Use your in-breath to draw the right knee and the left knee into the chest for your stalk. Optioned here to extend that left heel away. Try to draw the left toes towards you. Engage through the core, ribs towards the hips. Inhale. As we exhale, tip forward. Virabhadrasana 3. Flexing the back foot to engage through the posterior chain. Left hip draws down. Shoulders onto back body. Inhaling. As we exhale, draw that left foot behind you. Pivot towards the left side, Virabhadrasana 2. bending that right knee so it tracks out over the right toes. Reach the fingertips apart. On your next in-breath, draw the left hand down the left thigh, right hand comes up and over for your reverse warrior. Softening the shoulders away from the ears, but keeping that right knee bent. Using your next in-breath, bring both hands towards the ground, tuck onto the left toes, right knee to right elbow. As we exhale, send that right foot up, downward facing dog. Then bend the knee and open the hip. This is a very strong pose. So keep breathing, drawing that right shoulder down. On your next in-breath, let's draw that right knee to the left elbow. As we exhale, place that left heel down, extend the right heel out towards the ground. Option to hover the foot. Keep pressing away with the right hand and then soften the hips down towards the ground. You can stay down or circle the left hand behind you, turning the toes towards the left. Squeeze the glutes to lift your hips high. Exhaling to come down. Find your center. Use your in-breath to lengthen. Exhale to soften. Just maintaining the toes and the knees drawing up towards the ceiling. Just only folding as far as feels comfortable. Start to walk the hands back. Place the right hand towards the front of the mat. Tuck onto the left toes. Draw the right knee into the chest on an in-breath. As we exhale, extend that right leg out, three-legged plank, or touch the knees down. Flow through your vinyasa, using your breath all the way back into your downward facing dog. Well done. On your next in-breath, let's bend the knees. Find your crouch, hover the hips over the heels. Exhaling to soften. Use your in-breath to roll yourself into your plank. Exhaling, upward facing dog, then soften the hips down, untuck the toes. Finding your baby cobra variation, option here to take the hands behind you, clasping the hands together, maybe lifting the feet off to find your locust pose, drawing the shoulders onto the back body. Then exhaling to come down, hands come by the ribs, press up onto your knees, maybe finding a cat pose to counter. Find your way back into your tabletop position, maybe a little shift from side to side. Find your neutral. Draw the left toes towards the left side. Plant the right heel down. Extend the the right hand. Using your in-breath, cactus the right elbow towards the right knee. As we exhale, draw the left knee high. Option here to extend that left leg long. And then find your way back with the left knee down. In-breath, draw the right knee towards the right elbow. Then hover that right foot off. Look towards the top of the mat. Take a big step forward with that right foot. Option to keep the left knee down, or you could tuck onto the left toes to lift the left knee off. Let's find that side bend again. Inhaling, reaching that left hand high, and then exhaling, drawing it towards the right side. Start to lengthen through that right leg. Reach the left hand forward, right hand behind. Modified pyramid. Keep trying to draw that right hip back, left hip forward. Use your next in-breath to sweep that right hand high, bend into your right knee. Exhaling, finding your high lunge. Circle your hands behind you, inhaling. As we exhale, plant the left heel down, humble out your warrior, drawing the chest down. We're going to find an interesting transition here. So start to shift your eye gaze towards your right foot. Now, a few hops or one big hop to an Uttanasana, stepping that left foot towards the right. Hands are still clasped, reaching towards the top of the mat, chin in towards the chest. On your next in-breath, hands to shins, halfway lift. As we exhale, fold forward. Inhale to rise, rippling through the spine, one vertebrae to lift the arms. As we exhale, hands come by the sides, Tadasana. Start to shift the weight into the left foot. Use your in-breath to draw the right knee into the chest. Always the option to kick that right foot out. Draw the right hip down slightly, shoulders pull back. Inhale. As we exhale, tip from the hips, Virabhadrasana 3, long spine here. There is an option if you wanted it to bend the right knee, take the left hand to clasp around the right foot, reach the right hand out in front of you, finding that half bow variation that we did on the ground. Keep kicking into that foot. Take a big breath in. As we exhale, release that foot if you have it, then take a long step back, open yourself out, Virabhadrasana 2. Square the hips and the shoulders, softening on your exhalations. On your next in-breath, reverse your warrior, left hand down, left thigh, right hand down, right thigh, left hand up and over. Then take the hands outside towards the front of the mat. Take the left knee towards the left elbow. Then use your breath in to sweep the left toes high, three-legged dog. Exhaling, bending the knee. Next in-breath, let's draw the left knee to the right elbow. Then find your broken triangle again, taking the left foot towards the side. Plant the hips down. Option to take the right hand behind you, drawing the hips high. And then softening down into your wide-legged forward fold. Finding your breath. That was a lot of movement. So reconnect with your breath and your body. Start to walk the hands back. Place the left hand towards the ground, right hand towards the ground, tuck onto the right toes, drawing the left knee into the chest on an in-breath. As we exhale, your vinyasa all the way back into a tabletop position. When you're ready, take a big step forward with both hands and then use your exhale to soften the chest down. So really encouraging the opening of our spine, the extension of our spine here, using our breath. And then walk the hands back into your tabletop, round through the upper back to find your cat, press away from the ground, and then find your way back to tabletop. Let's try the other side. Draw the right toes towards the right side, left hand and left foot extends out. Take a big breath in to draw the left knee towards the left elbow, and then draw the right knee up into the chest. Option here is to extend the right leg out, using the strength of the core. Tap it down and then use your breath, tap the left knee towards the left elbow, hover the left foot off the ground, then extend that left foot towards the top of the mat. Option to keep the knee down here, or you could tuck onto the right toes and lift the right knee off. Inhaling, reaching the right hand high, exhaling to side bend. On your next in-breath, let's start to lengthen through that left leg. Reach the right hand forward, left hand behind you. Draw the left hip back, right hip forward. Just keeping as much of a bend as you need in that left knee as you need. On your next in-breath, sweep the both hands high. Exhaling to soften and bend that left knee, high lunge. Circle the hands behind you, clasp the hands together, inhaling. As we exhale, draw the right heel down on a 45, eye gaze towards the right heel. Drawing the chest down. Start to shift the eye gaze towards that left foot. Few hops or one big hop, drawing that right foot into your Uttanasana, forward fold. Hands to shins, halfway lift, inhaling. As we exhale, fold forward. Inhale to rise, lift the arms, lift the eye gaze. As we exhale, hands by the sides, Tadasana. Shift the weight into the right foot. Use your in-breath to sweep the left knee into the chest. Shoulders draw back. Option to kick that left heel away from you, drawing the left toes towards the body. Use your in-breath to lengthen. As we exhale, tip from the hips, Virabhadrasana 3. Find your balance. Option here, if you wanted it, is to bend the left knee and take the right hand around the ankle, reaching the left hand forward. Using the back of the body to lift that foot a little bit higher. Finding your strength. And then when you're ready, let's release that left foot. Take a big breath in. As we exhale, take a long step back with that left foot. Virabhadrasana 2. Focus on drawing that left foot, outer edge of that left foot towards the ground. Then find a reverse warrior. Left hand down, left thigh, right hand up and over. Use your breath, windmill your hands towards the ground, right knee towards the right elbow. As we exhale, draw the right toes high, downward facing, bending the knee, opening the hip. Keep that left knee bent, soften the left ankle. Use your next in-breath, draw the right knee towards the left elbow, then plant the left heel onto the ground, extend that right leg off to the side, option to hover it off the ground. Soften the hips down, stay down, or circle the left hand behind your hips, using your in-breath to open, drawing the toes towards the side. Exhaling, drawing the hips down, walking the hands forward to find your wide-legged forward fold. Countering a lot of extension with our spine with flexion. Reconnecting with your breath, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose. Start to walk the hands back, take the right hand towards the top of the mat, tuck onto the left toes, draw the right knee into the chest. Then extend that right leg back. Your Vinyasa all the way into a downward facing dog. Drawing the chest towards the thighs. Find your breath. On your next inhalation, you can step or hop in between the hands. As we exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. As we exhale, bring the hands down. Inhale to rise, lift the arms, lift the eye gaze, squeeze the glutes. As we exhale, Tadasana, recenter. Inhale, find this flow, lift the arms. As we exhale, draw chin in towards the chest. Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. As we exhale, we're going to bend our knees and come with our hips down onto the ground. Circle the right hand behind you, turn the fingertips away. You can stay down or you can press up on your in-breath to find a flip dog. As you exhale, draw the hips down, circle the left hand behind you, turn the fingertips. Inhaling to press through the heels, lift through the heart space. Exhale, try one more each side. Use your breath. Keep squeezing the glutes here. Maybe circling that other hand towards the ground. And once you've done the other side, the left side, the last time, let's find a Navasana, drawing the knees towards the chest, palms up. Exhale, low boat, draw the chest down. Inhaling to lift, shoulders pull back. As we exhale, extend the legs out. Hover here just for one breath. And then draw the heels down towards the ground, shoulders onto the ground. Finding a few moments to soften. If you wanted to, you could draw the knees up into the chest. This is kind of leading up into one of our peak poses, which is our Setu Bandhasana, our bridge pose, or Urdhva Dhanurasana, our wheel pose. Let's land our feet behind our hips here, hands by the sides. Now you can either find your bridge pose like we did at the beginning, or if you wanted to try find your wheel, you could take the hands up above your shoulders, turning the fingertips towards you. Either way, let's use your in-breath to lift the hips high. If you're finding your Dhanurasana, Urdhva Dhanurasana, press through the hands. We'll stay here for a few rounds of breath, squeezing the glutes, opening through the heart space, drawing the shoulder blades onto the back body. Keep pressing through the heels. And whenever you feel ready, coming back down, just lowering the head down, drawing the chin in towards the chest. Maybe you draw the knees back towards your chest to find a counter pose. Just reminding ourselves that we want our asanas to be steady and comfortable. So you don't ever not want to be able to breathe. That's a great indication to know that you've gone a little bit too far. But please just take this where you want to go today. Option here for another round if you would like, either of a Setu Bandhasana or your Urdhva Dhanurasana. If it feels comfortable, you could shift your eye gaze in between your hands. Keep trying to draw the knees together slightly so you're not splaying the knees out, and that's activating through the abductors, the inner of the thighs, drawing the ribs towards the hips slightly. Find one more breath if you're still holding. And then as we exhale, roll yourself down slowly, drawing the knees in towards the chest. Maybe you bring the backs of the palms together, giving some sort of relief. Just moving in a way that feels nourishing. When you're ready, let's grab the backs of the legs, roll yourself up to your hips, and then we'll find our way into a tabletop position and then into a balasana, a child's pose. Letting your space of the third eye soften into the ground. Letting the breath flow into the back of the ribs. Now you can stay here. If you felt like you had a little bit more juice in you, a little bit more energy, we'll find a variation of Ustrasana. So finding our way onto standing onto our shins. So our spine is long. You might start by tucking onto the toes and bringing the hands behind your hips, drawing the elbows behind you. Squeeze the glutes, find a baby back bend. Maybe you bring one hand down to the heel, reach the other hand high, and take a few breaths on one side, then swap over. If you felt open enough, you could bring both hands towards the heels. Maybe the eye gaze shifts behind you. We don't want to feel any sort of sharp sensations in our back, so please take this where it feels comfortable. One more breath. And then when you're ready, just finding your way out, drawing the chin in towards the chest slightly at the top. Then find your way back into your balasana. Find your stillness. And just notice where you can feel sensation in your body. After quite a few back bends and heart openers like that, often we can feel tingles. It feels quite amazing. When you're ready, let's shift our way up. We're going to slow things right down. Cross over the ankles, find your way into a seat. Extend both legs out in front of you. Take a big breath in to reach both hands towards the sky. As you exhale, reach both hands towards your feet. Keep traveling your hands forward and then soften your heart space down towards your thighs. Drawing the chin in towards the chest. Just trying to soften the upper body here. Encouraging our body to fold forward with our breaths rather than with force and use of the arms. And then whenever we find a peak pose, we want to counter it. And so this is the deep forward fold into our Paschimottanasana. It should feel pretty good. And start to walk our hands back. We're going to take that right foot beside our hip. Now, how far you want to take that knee behind you is up to you. So you could keep the knee close to the other knee, or you could draw it more out. If neither of these feel uncomfortable, you can draw the right heel towards the left thigh. Let's take a big breath in to lift tall, and then as we exhale, folding forward. So depending on where your knee is, we're finding a bit of internal rotation, but if your knee is towards the side, you're also finding some external rotation. So quite a lot of sensation within the hips. If you feel any sort of sharpness within the knee joint, please find that other variation with the right knee into the left thigh. Start to walk the hands back. Now, if you do have the right knee extended, draw it back towards the left knee. Maybe you stay upright here. If you feel comfortable and you have space, you can walk your hands back, maybe towards elbows or bringing the head down towards the ground. If you're starting out in this asana and it feels a little bit uncomfortable, you could stay upright and just bring a pillow or something underneath your hips to lift you up a little bit higher. Let's try one more breath. And if you're on your back, let's find our way up towards our hips again. Let's take that right foot up and over the thigh. Left leg can stay extended, or if you feel like you have space, you can draw that left foot by the glutes, the right glute. If you feel that right hip lifting off, then extend it back out. Let's find our twist here, inhaling to lengthen, exhaling, drawing that left elbow around the right thigh. Eye gaze over the right shoulder. An option here is to take that left elbow up on top of or around the outside of the thigh. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. Let's find one more breath. And then unwind back to center. We're going to keep the knees in a somewhat similar position into a Gomukhasana. So we'll wriggle our right foot out a little bit more, so our right knee is stacked on top of the left. Again, this might feel quite strong. You can always extend this left leg out in front. Otherwise, if this feels okay, take a big breath in to lift. And exhale, folding forward, drawing the chin in towards the chest. You can also bring a pillow or a block underneath your hips here if you wanted a little bit more space. Let's try one more breath. And then start to walk your hands back, release the legs out in front, and then just wiggle your knees, tap them on the ground. We'll try that sequence on the other side. So bending the left knee, either taking it towards the other knee or taking it out towards the side. And then when you're ready, just folding forward over the right leg. And as we start to slow things down, see if we can also slow down our breath. Tapping into our parasympathetic nervous system, rest and digest. Moving through any feelings of uncomfortableness and letting tension release. Start to walk the hands back. If you've got the knee extended towards the side, let's bring it in slightly. Again, you can stay more upright. If you feel like you have space, you could come down to your elbows or maybe down towards the ground. I want to think about lifting the hips up towards the ceiling. So squeezing the glutes slightly while also drawing the left knee down. So we're feeling a strong sensation through the left hip flexor and the quadricep. It's okay if the lower back is a little bit further off the ground. We're trying to encourage it to come down as much as we can. So by drawing the ribs towards the hips slightly, finding that long spine. Let's try one more breath. And if you're on your back, maybe just hugging your hands around the outsides of the thigh to draw yourself up. If you've got that left knee out, let's take that left foot up and over the right thigh. Again, always an option to draw the right foot in next to the left glute or to extend it out. Take a big breath in to lift. As we exhale, wrap the right hand, right elbow around the left. Drawing your eye gaze behind your left shoulder. See if you can press your hips down into the ground here. So again, we're trying to find this long spine while we're twisting. So extending the crown of the head tall, but then also rooting the tailbone into the earth. Let's release the twist. Keep the knees somewhere where they are, but you can draw that right foot over a little bit more so the right knee is stacking on top of the left as much as it can. Or we can take, sorry, the left knee is stacking on top. We can also take the right foot out if we need. When you're ready, let's find our forward fold. There is also another option to find a arm opener as well by finding a tricep stretch with the right elbow. But we've done quite a lot of opening with our upper body. It's quite nice to fold forward at the end of our practice. And then when you're ready, walking yourself back, start to shift your weight forward towards the top of the mat, and then roll yourself down your spine. Really slowing everything down now. Just draw the knees in towards the chest. Maybe you stay here, or you can find a variation of happy baby. Maybe the hands come around the outsides of the thighs or ankles or outside of the feet. Drawing the knees outside the ribs. Trying to broaden across the collarbones. And then when you're ready, let's extend both feet above the hips, finding a waterfall pose, drawing the toes towards the shins. You could stay here, otherwise pressing through the hands which are extended out. You could lift your hips up and back to find a halasana, a plow pose. The toes might be hovering off the ground, they might be touching onto the ground. Keep breathing here, in through the nose, out through the nose. You can always clasp your hands together and press the knuckles into the ground, or you can have your hands behind your hips. Another option here is to bend the knees, to draw them by the ears, to find a deaf man's pose. And stay here as long as you want, as long as it feels comfortable. If you're feeling ready to come back down, just using your breath to roll yourself down your spine, vertebrae by vertebrae. Maybe you take your feet wide and draw the knees from side to side, finding those window wipers again. If there's any other asanas, any other movements that feel really good that your body is calling for here, then listen and follow. Otherwise, if you're feeling ready for Shavasana, just find a position that feels comfortable for you. Maybe that's with your feet out, extended, hands by your sides, palms up, or hands on your body. Or maybe that's with your feet close to your hips, drawing the knees in, feet wide. Whatever position it is, as long as it's comfortable, as long as you can breathe and relax, it doesn't matter. Close down your eyes if you haven't already. And just noticing any sensations that are flowing through your body right now. What energy, what prana has been shifted, has been opened and moved throughout our asana practice. And notice if you're holding any tension in any parts of your body. And see if you can soften this. So softening the eyebrows, softening the eyelids, the jaw, the mouth. Softening the whole of the back body into the earth. Surrendering yourself, knowing that the ground is there to support you and to hold you. We'll be here for another few minutes of quiet. If you do notice that your mind goes on quite a deep tangent throughout this time, acknowledge those thoughts. And then encourage yourself to come back to the present, to the sensations in your body, your breath. Notice where your mind space is. And just reminding ourselves that beyond the chatter of our mind, there is this deep feeling of peace, of stillness, of joy. And it takes time and it takes practice to move beyond almost like this cloud in our mind. But we can get there. It's all about returning home when you've noticed that you're gone. Start to take a few deeper breaths. Expanding through the ribs, the belly, the chest. And bringing some movement back into the body, maybe some circles with the wrists, circles with the ankles, keeping the eyes closed. Might turn this into some bigger movements, maybe drawing the knees to the chest or a full body stretch. Try to be intuitive here, don't think about it too much. Just what if it feels really good? When you're ready, we'll find a way into a seat, Sukhasana, keeping the eyes closed. Just acknowledging the work that you've done today. A moment of gratitude perhaps for yourself or anything else you would like to give some gratitude for. For this practice, for centering, for moving your body, anything. Just bring the hands to heart center. Feeling that connection with the heart, mind, body. And I thank you so much for practicing with me today. And I can't wait to move with you again. Namaste.